I don't do the most, but I do a lot. I'ma make a toast, cause we still alive. No big, I feel like Pac. I shoot a shot. I'm coming in hot. Coming in hot. Shoot that. Hey, why not? Yeah, coming in hot. Just like the fajita. I write what I live. My life in the speaker. I'm nice with the flow. Just like the demeanor. I'm feeding my fans.
Welcome back, Fog members. It's Talking It Out with the Commish. I have Daddy Doubles, Mr. Undefeated here with me. How's it feel, Zach? It's a long time.
Feels great.
This is a long
Oh
time
my God.
in the making.
Yeah, very long time coming. I mean, in past Talking It Out episodes all this year, you guys were like, oh, like Freddie's the new Zach, like the new Zach. I was like, what is this reputation that I had that my team for the last 3 years has been so bad that we are saying that I am synonymous with like being the worst. So I am very happy with my 6-0 start. I just want to keep it up.
And I mean, truthfully, if I'm gonna be real with everyone here, like I'm not used to being in the position I'm in, so this has been really rough. I think
We should have this like every year. This is great.
2-4. It's tough coming on here, talking it out. I have to take my manager hat off and put the commissioner hat on. It's a little tough some weeks to get on here after. I think I've lost like 3 in a row now, so that's never good. Yeah, I'm on a 3-game losing streak, and it doesn't look better because I have nobody playing this week. So
yeah, we're gonna talk about that. It looks like a rough one.
yeah, so maybe better days ahead. We'll see. So we're gonna get right into it. Here are some of the calls of the week. So first thing, I'll get right into it. By Mageddon, it's hit. By Apocalypse, whatever you want to call it. 6 teams on bye this week. And not looking good for me specifically. I have 4 on bye. Montgomery hurt, so that and I had a kicker on bye too. I already dropped him. So I'm sure there's some other teams in the same position. So just a tough one right here.
Yeah, I mean, we're at that point of the season where the bye weeks are here. And then it's always tough because you can't drop these players and they're taking up bench spots. And we're also, what a weird season bleeding into your next point a little bit. But we have so many players hurt that our IR spots are like filling up, and we have hurt players on the bench. So that's also taking up valuable space. It's these bye weeks are going to be something, that's for sure.
I just did a really quick look through, and every team has at least one person on their IR, except maybe, of course, John Leonard doesn't have anyone on IR, so that makes sense.
Well, yeah, come on, that's a given.
I
He
guess
just had Amon Ra was hurt. I mean, not hurt anymore.
Nah,
but
so. And I'll let you go to one of your points. You can go with whichever one you want to go with.
Yeah, so we'll talk about trades because last Friday, it was, I mean, literally trades on trades on trades on trades. I was talking to you for the longest time, and I was talking to Derek for the longest time about making some moves. Ended up doing it with you. I'm super happy about the trade. Well, we should say at the time. I know you were super happy about the trade at the time. I'm still happy about it. I don't know if you are.
Look, I'll make my point on that real quick, like, because there's a lot of people, oh, you gave Zach Schwinn, like, Tyreek Hill, like, the best player. Sure. I also, in my view, like, tried to deplete you a little bit with your deck. So there's, like, and a trade is a trade. Like, there's a risk on every side of a trade. So like at the end of the day, I can sleep fine knowing that I made the effort to get, to acquire two number one wide receivers and a top 5 running back at the time. So, injuries happen, stuff happens. So that's
And
fine.
I would say, like, all injuries being aside, I think you did exactly that. Like, deplete. I still have depth, but
Yes,
not
you do.
nearly as much.
Hmm.
Um, and what was so enticing for me about the trade, I mean, at the end of the day, depth is going to get you through a lot of the season, but like in that championship game, it doesn't matter who's on my bench. I want the best, and God willing, I make it to the championship game. I want the best players I can have playing. And I just saw
100%.
Tyreek Hill was one of those best players, so I wanted him on my team.
Yeah. I
So
think that's how I proposed it to you. I'm like, look, like at the end of the day, like come championship time, if you have the opportunity to roll out CMC, JJ, Tyreek Hill, and Hurts, I would
oh
say
yeah.
you have a better shot than most. So that's and you were like, and you made sense of it, and it clicked, and you were like, okay, yeah, let's do it. So, and then that's just like kind of snowballed.
But so yeah, I was gonna say right after our trade, the next trade was between Tyler and Turtle. Turtle acquired Tony Pollard and Tua. Tyler got Michael Thomas, Kirk Cousins, Alvin Kamara. Um, I think a great trade for both teams. Uh, Turtle gets a better quarterback, which I know all season he has been like, I traded in Kirk Cousins earlier this year. I know he's kind of been trying to find a quarterback. So I think Tua is big help for him. And Tyler finally, I feel like, gets some
Yeah,
players not hurt. Like Kamara, ever since he's been back, has been pretty consistent, doing really well. So I think that's huge for
yeah.
Tyler. Um,
No, that was fun to see. Tyler's trying to make some moves here, trying to get himself like at least like have a little bit of fun potentially. It sucks going through a season and you just are like, well, what's the point?
yeah,
But
I've been there. And like from being there, good for Tyler for still trying to shake things up and like and try to go for it and make those trades because I mean with a team like he had with all the injuries and like the busts, it's hard to trade. Like people don't necessarily want those players, but I think Tyler has made some moves and I see things turning around for him. I think he's going to get some wins, so
yeah,
yeah. And then
no,
the final trade was between, let me scroll. It was between Freddie and was between Derek.
hmm,
Freddie acquired Keenan Allen and Derek acquired Calvin Ridley and Alexander Madison. I think this is another great trade all around. Uh Freddie got Keenan Allen, and Keenan Allen this year has just been like nothing but consistent, which I
yeah,
think is really just a great asset to have wide receiver. It's really, I mean, the like a player he traded away, Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley is awesome when he's awesome, but if you look at the weeks that he's been having, I feel like he's like a 25, 30 point player or like a like five, I don't know, point player. I don't know those numbers exactly, but I feel like he's pretty boomer bust. So I think that's really good for Freddie. I think it's really good for Derek too, because with that boomer bust, those booms are going to happen, and that's going to be great for Derek's team.
yeah. And at that point, Derek had like he had some questionable running back situation, so I think he was like Calvin Ridley does have offer like long-term potential, and Madison at least is a fill-in. Like Madison's still getting like we can, rag on him all we want. He gets 15 touches a game easy. So,
Yeah,
um, I think it was
100%.
good on both sides for sure. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, so and
I'll
then
just
yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I'll
Segue.
go into the next point. I'm just saying, watch out for Freddie. I'm not trying to blow up his spot or anything, and I'm not trying to make people more. Well, I guess I am making people more aware of the situation. I feel like all this year, Freddie has kind of been ragged on. He was Owen, right?
Hmm.
All the start of this year.
Yeah.
that being said, I went back and I was looking at his scores. Freddie has always broken 100 points every week.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that I don't know. I don't think half the league can say that.
No.
Freddie, the 1 week, he like his lowest week was 105. I think all the other weeks he was above 120, which is really good. I feel like if I'm putting up 120 points like week to week, I'm happy with that.
Yes.
I think he just got really unlucky with matchups. And I see him creeping into that playoff spot in our division. He's technically tied for third, right?
Yep.
And he's only 1 game out of second place, 1 game out of that playoff spot, which is ridiculous. I feel like with his 0-4 start, 0-5 start, I'm not sure what it was, but if you're playing Freddie, don't laugh him off. Like I would be worried. And especially after this trade, I think there's some merit to his team.
100%. He's definitely a good team. Like I thought it's been a good team. I think he's set up just as strongly as JL and JT, if not stronger. Record might not show, but once we start getting to the conference games, that's where like Freddie can make his ground. Like he just needs to, like once he gets into those JL games, the JT games, games against me, like then he can start gradually just bumping up the ranking. So, and then that I'll segue that into my point because you said something funny about not breaking 100, and I find that this year you're having fun. I'm not having fun. And this is what I mean by that. I shouldn't say that. The scores across the board in fantasy football, not just fantasy, in like real life football, have been like super low. I think I just saw a stat that if you totaled up all the points from last weekend, it was the lowest amount of points scored in like 20 years or something. It was like crazy. So like scores across the board are low, which means fantasy scores. I remember when if 120 wasn't safe, like in fantasy. Now, like you're almost like borderline safe if you're putting up like 100 to 110, like 110 to 120. Like that's like a safer field now, which it's just hard to transition our minds. Like
Yep.
and injuries have a lot to do with it. And if you were to, go through, and I didn't do it, but maybe I will, the top 3 rounds of the draft, I would love to see like how those players are doing, like where their like position ranks are.
I mean, I was gonna say I feel like a lot of the firepower that I had on my team, I mean, yes, came from some of those. Like I got to start off with CMC and Jefferson, but like I picked up Puka week 1. I like David Montgomery was such a low waiter, like later draft. Gibbs was supposed to be a guy, so I feel like a lot of the a lot of the players
like round 10 for you, like
honestly I don't even know if I drafted Swift because Gainwell was supposed to be the guy.
I think you did, and I was just
got
like,
hurt.
well, who knows what's going to happen, but that's just like so like to hire the people that everyone was kind of hoping on, like the Calvin Ridleys, and it's tough right now for me, but obviously you have different feelings on that, so that's another reason why I made this a point.
I think it's a really good point because I think if you do go through, I mean, not to rag on but Tyler again, what were his first couple picks? Do we like I
know it was Chubb. He had Eckler, or maybe he drafted Eckler, kept Chubb, and the one pick where I specifically remember saying it in the draft. I mean, I was a little tuned at that time, so I was kind of being.
Weren't we all?
But I go, oh, there's an obvious choice here, and I'm thinking he's going to pick Jalen Hurts, and he went Jonathan Taylor.
So didn't. I also thought that, and then Hurts dropped to me, and I was super hyped about that. But yeah, so like, I mean, just saying the first couple rounds. So his team, unfortunately, I feel like that. I mean, with injuries and everything and busts, like it did not work out for him. But like that's fantasy. You just
Yep.
you don't know.
Yeah,
So
100%. So, yeah, cool. They were the calls of the week and a little bit more. So we can move on to the first team all bench. You were nice and you put who owns who. Uh, I apologize. I was rushing through this at work. But here we go. We have Jacoby Myers, who is on Eric's team. I know that because I'm just like surprised at how well Myers has been playing this year. Like he's probably like a top 10 wide receiver.
mhm.
He's 14 and he's missed a game. So he was hurt one game and he's still at 14. So like um he had 14.6. Um Jacoby Myers, another like Cortland Sutton, who you picked, kind of similar pathway, like just under the radar all season.
And I mean, I don't know about all your picks, but all my picks, this being said, and you mentioned it earlier, this week of football like was just bad. And
Mhm.
so like all these like all bench players, at least all the ones that I picked, I would have also had them on my bench. Like Cortland Sutton. Last week, he had like one catch, he had like one
Yes.
point, something like that.
Yep.
And so I don't want to start somebody that's getting 1 point, so I would totally bench him. And I think he got like a touchdown this week,
Yeah.
which boosts stats. Um, but like, so it was just like such a weird just week in
Mhm.
general. Uh, Going into my next one, Trevor Lawrence. The only reason why I put him on here is just because JT traded for Lamar Jackson, right?
Yeah.
And he was sticking with Trevor Lawrence the whole time. And not that Trevor Lawrence did phenomenal, right? I feel like out of a quarterback, I at least want 20 points.
Mhm.
But Trevor Lawrence did outscore Lamar only by like a point or so. But that's why I put him on, just
Sure.
because JT was rocking with Trevor Lawrence this whole season, trades up for Lamar Jackson, and Trevor Lawrence outperforms Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Um Trevor Lawrence has had a very Joe Burrow like season. Um
Yeah, the
and I
young
no, I understand why JT made the trade because like it's been hard to like you want to put your faith in these Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow guys like that, and then when they're not performing, it stings even worse. So like JT did the right thing. He went got another guy, and now he's gonna have to play roulette, figuring that one out.
You want to go on to your number two guy?
Yeah, yeah. So I went Kareem Hunt. It's one of Derek's guys. 14.6. Love Kareem Hunt. Loved him like for his entire career. Like obviously not the off field stuff, but like his on field like play. I love his style. He was just like a guy. Like I thought Jerome Ford. I mean Jerome Ford still had 80 yards. Still like was very much a part of the offense, but it looked like early on Kareem Hunt was the guy there. In that game. Um, so 14.6. He was on Derek's bench. See what he does this week. Uh, and I went Curtis Samuel because I think Turtle has him. 12.2. Curtis Samuel's quietly putting together a pretty solid last few weeks. I'm not gonna say they're great, but it's basically what Jaheim Dotson was doing last season, and Dotson's just non-existent right now. However, I think he might. I think they're gonna start just like spreading the ball around a little bit more. I think, but if Turtle would have played him, I'm pretty sure he would have won. Um,
Yeah, it was a close matchup between
I mean, it was
them.
Unagi, so it makes sense.
My last guy, I had Dalton Schultz for Freddie. Like another thing I was saying earlier, I mean, he he picked the wrong tight end out of the three tight ends that he has on his team.
Mm-hmm.
And so it happens. What tight end? He has Laporta going again now. Was Laporta on bye? Is that why? No, he wasn't.
I don't know why he would have. No,
Oh no. Oh, sorry. He played Laporta. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. That's duh. That he didn't start Schultz. He played Laporta.
Funny funny story on Schultz. So I'm like, Kenner has a fantasy team, so I'm like, she's like, oh, my tight end's on bye, so I like go to her team, and I'm like, why is Dalton Schultz your starting tight end? Like, he's terrible. And then I looked, and he's like position rank 6, and I'm like, wait, when did this happen?
Yeah, he's also having like a sneaky season. And I just think it's funny that Freddie hasn't, because like this was years ago, but we always bring it up. Ever since the Jimmy Graham
Yeah,
situation happened, I think of Freddie as like a tight end guy.
yeah.
And the
Freddie's definitely he likes his ends tight. That's for sure.
yeah, exactly. But like the fact that like all season he's like, oh yeah, like Patty Fries. He's like, okay,
Yes,
like
that's a good
he's
point.
he's a big tight end guy.
Yeah, I mean, some guys are like that, like that. Other guys are different guys, you know. So, yeah. So that's the first team all bench. That's good stuff. And speaking of Freddie, and he started Raheem 32 points. Definitely a redemption for Freddie. Definitely a reason he
Oh
won. 3 touchdowns out of Mostert. Um, that's a huge week.
oh yeah, 100%.
I don't have too much other to say. I mean, just to think that, and as a Eagles fan, now we have to face this offense. Two guys on this in this studs of the week, Tyreek, Raheem. That's a lot of points, a lot of touchdowns, a lot of yards. It's going to be tough for the Eagles to stop that.
Oh yeah. And like not only do you have to worry about like their number one receiver and their
Mhm.
number like one running back. I mean, I know they have like A chance hurt right now, but like Waddle's also a
Yeah,
great player.
100%.
So like it's not even like, oh, if we lock down Hill, like we'll be fine, or like if Raheem, like if we can just stop his run game, we'll be like
Yep.
they're they are they probably are the strongest offense in the game right now.
Yes.
Um, yeah, they're dangerous. It's gonna be a game for sure.
Yeah. Another offense that's really good that's not getting enough attention is a guy that you went with, Amon Ra. I mean, with Laporta and then their running back situation, and then Amon Ra, like, and I think they're tied for the best record in the league. I think the Lions are
They are. They're
five
like
and
they
one.
are a sneaky 5-1,
Yeah.
100%. Because
So
you're like, because I feel like everybody's like, oh yeah, Eagles 5-1, Chiefs are 5-1, but yeah, the Lions are also 5-1, and
and they
I
have the head to head on the Chiefs. So like that's a good team, good offense. And yeah, so 24.4 points. JL needed that to squeak out the win. Um, no one's surprised there.
mhm. um Cooper Cup unfortunately is officially back. I think the only person really looking forward to this was Derek. And
Um,
we got to say, what, Cooper Cup was out for the first 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I think 4 weeks, and I think Derek went 3-1. Like good for him with
uh-huh.
squeaking by it with his like main wide receiver weapon hurt, and he's still putting up wins. But yeah, Cooper Cup is back. Watching him the other week in the Eagles game, I was nervous. I was like, holy cow, this guy, like, and he's doing the same thing. It's
Yep.
not like it's not like he's doing anything flashy. But he's a great player for a reason. And 24.3 points. That's great for Derek. Yeah, Cooper Cup's back.
Yeah. No, he's fantastic. Like as a fan of football, like he just plays the game the right way. He just catches everything that's thrown to him. He's fast after he catches it. He's strong. I mean, what's crazy is like they have a duplicate in Puka, and like so now they can just like I think Puka's still going to be very relevant. I think he's obviously there's an alpha on the team, and that's Cooper Cup. So he's gonna Puka will have to like fall back a little bit, but he'll still get his. And they're like, think about it, like every practice, Puka gets to like work with Cooper Cup and learn the things that he does, and then throw that into the mix. Like they're gonna it's like gonna be a wide receiver farm. They're just gonna keep churning the same style players.
Yeah, I mean, it's back like the Tyreek Hill and Waddle situation. Yeah, Cooper Cup and Puka are even better, like as a duo, and it's just crazy to think. Okay, if we shut down Cup, you still have Puka to worry about. Yeah, they're scary together. Travis Etienne for JT. He had a great week. 21.8 points. I think he had, do you have 2 touchdowns? I believe. Let me look that up.
I had my
2
so I
touchdowns.
was like a little out of keeping up with everything this week. So I'm looking myself right now. But he was
Yeah, I mean that's what got him the points.
he
But
had 2 touchdowns. Yep.
2 touchdowns is nice. You gotta like that. I mean, if any of my players get 1 touchdown during the week, I'm happy. Like that's a good feeling. But once they hit double digit, not double digit. Once they hit 2 touchdowns, you can't really ask for more, right?
No, that's a good feeling. I wouldn't know that personally this year, but I remember in last year. Um, and then I picked Adam Thielen just because like what a story this guy is. Like, I know I drafted him in my auction league, and then I dropped him after the first week because he only had 2 catches for 12 yards. Derek, I think, had him in this league, dropped him after the first week. Normal situation. Like, this is the guy that was drafted like 15th, 16th round in most drafts, 2 catches to start off, and then he just went on a tear, and he's put up 16, 26, 12, 22, 23. He's the number 5 wide receiver in the league at this moment, and just a guy like who was always a good player in Minnesota, but everyone kind of wrote him off. They're like, yeah, I think he's probably close to 32 years old. White guy, like just not doesn't have that burst, but he's proven people wrong, and that's an offense where Bryce Young needs to throw the ball to get better, and they're going to be playing from behind a lot. So Adam Thielen might be here for the whole season.
He can easily be a league winner, like a sneaky league winner, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one more kind of like stud that we didn't really include. I just feel like this week, since a lot of the games were kind of just meh, a lot of kickers went off this week. There were multiple kickers, I feel like, that had above like a 15-point game.
Oh yeah, Pucker. Yeah, Pucker did, and Tucker for you.
Yeah, and so like
that's right. Derek did send me a text at one point and just says, "F Justin Tucker." I mean, he said a little more than just the F, but
sure.
and I was just like, "What does that mean?" And then like I like flipped to, I'm like, "Oh boy, 17 and a half."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was pretty good for me this week, but I mean, like I was with Eric, who also his kicker went off too. But yeah, that's the one good thing about dud football games is that if you have the kicker, you're gonna be fine. Like they're just gonna be kicking field goals back. So
for sure. Yeah, and we already talked about Tyreek. 25, just normal day in the office for him. It's gotta feel good having him. Like I looked at one point and I'm like, man, I miss this guy.
it's like that SpongeBob episode where like SpongeBob or Mr. Krabs gives away SpongeBob to Plankton. And then you're like, oh, I miss you.
Yes, that's exactly. I'm just like, oh, I'm glad you're doing well. Oh man. So yeah, so they were the studs, and we will go on to the duds. I promise, Eric, I'm not like picking on you here. It was just for me, I was just really surprised with like, is Debo hurt or something? Like he's not
Debo did get hurt.
okay. Because I went then that's my bad. But I think this is his second week in a row. I guess he did a little better, but like week 4, he put up 0.6 points. And this week,
Mhm.
like he only had one target and he rushed for. So that's my bad. I didn't realize he was hurt. Um, but yeah, he's just had a pretty rough season. And speaking of rough seasons, Damian Pierce, um, he had 34 yards, and Singletary's starting to cut into his work a little bit. So, um, this is a guy that like in his draft slot, he was a 43rd pick in the draft. Like you're expecting a little bit better than 3.4, and like that's like been like he's went 5, 4.5. He had like 2 weeks of over 10 and then back under 10 for the next two. So just a rough situation for Dame Pierce.
Yeah, I have him in my other league, and yeah, he's like you said. If you draft somebody at a certain level, you kind of expect a certain workload out of them, and he's just not really giving it this season.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, so I'm just gonna start with Brock Purdy since you talked about Debo a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Debo did get hurt, right? McCaffrey got hurt for a little bit. He like left the game, came back, like left the game. That being said, I don't think Brock Purdy should have had the 9.7 he did. Like Ayuk is on that team. Ayuk is great. Kittle's on that team. Kittle had an insane week the other week. So yeah, Purdy was not sturdy this
Yeah,
past
I think
um
I think Cleveland is a much better defense than people want to give them credit. They have a really good secondary, um, and they just play sloppy football. So like it's I don't know. I still think Purdy's going to be fine long term. I think it was just a weird week. But yeah, this is the first time we're seeing him on the duds. Uh,
mhm. And it very well could be. I mean, like he both his number one receiver and his number one running back went down, right?
yeah.
But if that happens, you got to have a backup plan, right? And he has the targets, he has the weapons. So
Mm-hmm.
Logan Thomas, I put him on the list. JT had him. I put him on the list because everything popping up on like my Instagram feed, and I feel like my TikTok feed, were all saying like Logan Thomas is getting the targets. Like he's the guy. Like put him, start him on your team, and like even in my other league, I picked him up, and I was between. Like I wasn't sure about starting him because I had Dallas Goddard in him,
Mm-hmm.
and like Dallas Goddard had a good game like the prior week, but like the rest of the season, he wasn't really like doing it. I ended up going with Dallas Goddard. I'm super happy because Logan Thomas was a bust.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll have better weeks ahead, but this week was not it.
Yeah, and I kind of understand where JT went with that. Like, he's a guy like just trying anything to find a tight end that works. Um, and he was off of a 9 catch game and a touchdown, so like kind of understand it, but that one hurts. It could have really hurt him had the Eric put up a few more points that could have really come to made the situation, but um. Yeah, it's tough. And Jake Ferguson, screw that guy. I had a four part parlay going. Everything hit by like halftime. I'm like, and all I'm sitting on is I need Jake Ferguson for 2 receptions. That's it. He had a reception in the first drive, and I'm like, I'm set. Like he's gonna get another catch by the end of
Oh,
the game.
you're golden.
1 catch for 15 yards. So that's how that one went. Sorry, Turtle.
15 yards is like no joke for a catch too. That's like pretty good. Like I take that.
And
Wow.
now that I'm actually looking at this situation, I should have known that by placing this that he Turtle only lost by 3.5 points, and he played JL. So JL was pulling strings. He was like, Jake Ferguson's not doing another thing the rest of the game, and that's
Yeah.
not on me. I should have seen that.
I specifically put Jake Ferguson on here because when I was like looking through like duds and stuff, Turtle started 2 tight ends.
I see.
And Yeah, and anytime like that's a bold move. I feel like starting two tight ends because that's a position that like I feel like if you don't have like some of the top guys like Kelsey, like it's a crapshoot. And he's starting to. I don't know the situation he was with like depth or bye weeks or anything, but I just saw he had two tight ends. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So yeah, Jake Ferguson in the flex.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, he could have went Javonte Williams, could have went Tajay Spears, Curtis Samuel. Any of those guys give him the win over Ferguson. Um, but that's just part of the game.
You live and you learn. It
Yeah.
happens. Move on.
Not to pile on Turtle, Devontae Adams, who I didn't realize also was hurt. So this is just bad on me. But he had two receptions for 29 yards. I'm not sure at what point he got hurt or if he played the whole game or what that's about, but no, it looks like he played the whole game. He might have just picked this up after the game. 3.9 points, another like that's a position Devontae. Goes back to that underperforming and injuries. Like you expect 15 points easy out of your top draft pick. So when you're seeing 3.9, and I think he had another week similar to that. Like he's still putting up a good season. I guess last week he had 6.5. So it's two bad weeks back to back.
Yeah, it's the injury bug's here. It's here.
And so we'll move to the standings. I'll run through these real quick. Eric up at the top, 5-1. Derek is right behind him at 4-2. Zach Bear at 2-4 in third place. This is a crazy weak division. No offense, I'm just saying, like record wise, 2-4 gets yet a tie for third with Turtle, and then Tyler at 1-5. So definitely, like as much as Tyler wants to say he's out of it, he's still in it by a game. Like he's right there. So
I 100% agree, and that's what like fun thing about fantasy. Like, I mean, he's had such a rough start, but like we might not be laughing if he squeaks into a playoff spot. So
yeah, for sure. In your division, you're 6-0, top spot. Daddy doubles, there we go. Followed by JL. No one saw that. Coming 3-3. JT at 3-3. Freddie at 2-4, and myself at 2-4. But my points for are like really low, so I'm gonna have to do it on wins and losses. So yeah, so there are the standings. And we will get into our favorite time of the day. So we have the Sulk meter, okay? We got Oliver is joining us for the Sulk meter, everyone. So does Danielle know that these photos are being used for the Sulk bus?
yes, she does.
How does she feel about this?
Oh, so I got to show her a little clip of like the little screen capture the bus. She loved it.
Okay,
she's like,
good.
oh, like this is iconic. I am here for this. So.
I mean, this is an awesome one right here. So I'll let you take us around the horn from dark green to red.
Yeah, so dark green to red. Dark green Oliver. He has his tongue out. I feel like he's kind of like taunting. He's loving life.
Yeah.
He's rolling around. He's so happy.
Yeah.
Nothing can get better for that kid. Light green Oliver. He's chilling. He's having a good time, you know. He probably just got fed some food. He's here for the laughs. Tummy time was great. Doesn't get better. Yellow Oliver, he's like double flipping the bird.
Yes,
and I feel like
uh,
I put him in the middle because I don't know if it's an F you, I'm gonna beat you. I don't know if it's like an F this, I'm done with the season. But it's like I feel like he's so gangster. He's just very like neutral.
no, I love it. That's a good way to put it. Like I don't know what's going on in his mind on this one. So that's perfect for y'all.
Yep. Orange, he's like, ugh, this could be better. Like it's not great. It's not, but it's not horrible. Yeah, he does not like the situation he is in, clearly.
Yeah.
And red is it's done. It's over.
Pouty
Fat
lip. Yep.
yeah, fat lips out, tears are streaming down the face. Like it's lights out. You need a nap, buddy. Like it's not good. Uh,
No, that was
Um,
so good.
and that's our soul meter.
Yeah. So, um, let's have some fun. Like, so, we know you're in the full green. Like, let's
Oh
just.
yeah, I'm full green. For the past 3 years, I've been hearing, "Oh, don't worry, better days ahead. Better days ahead. The
The
better
better days
days
are
are
here.
here. The
Yes.
better days are here, baby. I'm in it this year." Yeah. Are you kidding me? I'm rolling around with my tongue out. I'm having a great time.
No, for sure. Um, and so we'll just go down our division then first. So JL at 3-3, where we feel like John's at.
You know what? I feel like Oliver flipping people off is like a nice place for John.
Yeah.
Uh, I don't know if he thinks that's too low or if he thinks, oh, like what he thinks, but John, even though he's in second in our division's like a crapshoot, right? Like people are in and out of it. And I feel like, I don't know, just the way John rolls, some of these cryptic texts that get sent to the group,
Mhm.
like saying like, oh, like I want to get like too used to your player being like okay, or like, oh, like we'll see about that.
Mhm.
I feel like right in the middle is, I mean, and with a 3-3 record, I feel like that's John.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, he toyed with me on Saturday. I'm like, well, it started Friday night. He was like, I was like, Amon Ra, and then like he's like, yeah, what do you want? Or like, what about it? And like he's like, just name your trade. And I'm like, I don't even know how to start with this. Like, and so like Saturday he continues it. He's like, so do you want Amon Ra? I'm like, well, who do you want from me? He's like, I don't care. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. And then what does Amon Ra do? He puts up a 24 point. Like, I just was so scared. Like, who says I don't care? Like, name your. So
John's crazy. I
yeah,
love it. He's
yeah.
crazy.
I'd agree. He's right in the middle fingers out. Like, who cares? Like, I got it on lock. Like, definitely like that. So what do you think about JT? So JT off of a very big win. And
Yeah,
he is on a 2-game win streak.
JT is on a 2-game win streak. I feel like pieces are coming alive for him. Um, Lamar, he's gonna have better days, right? AJ Brown's doing well. He just acquired JT. Um, I I do think JT is still yellow, but I would lean him more green than I would orange. I
Yeah,
think I
100%.
think all the moves he's been making, I think it's a more like F you guys and not F this. So I think JT is still yellow. He's cautious of the situation, but he's ready to move to green.
Yes. I like his team. I think I might tend a little bit more into the light green. Um, but he's right in that mix for sure. Um, and then Freddie's a tricky one. We've already went through his team a few times. Um, but
Now,
he's a good one. So I want to see your opinion on it.
I like I said, not trying to blow up Freddie's spot earlier, but I think like, and I know his record doesn't reflect it, but I would put Freddie at a green, like a sneaky light green, because I think he has a great team. With the just having Dolphins offense, right? Dolphins running back.
Mhm.
Um, I think he's a sneaky green, and I don't think a lot of people know. And I think it's just going to keep getting better and better for him. So I know he was going through it the first couple of weeks of the season, but I think Freddie is a sneaky light green.
Yeah, I would say it's a hard light green because Freddie is the most optimistic person there is. I always enjoy the Derek and Freddie conversations because like Derek's like a very pessimistic person, and Freddie's so optimistic. So it's really fun to see that dynamic. But Freddie's got to be feeling like after wipe those 4 losses out of the way. Right now, he's on a 2-game win streak as well.
Oh, he's streaking. Yeah, he's doing great.
Yeah. And then me with a new name change, Bass without the B.
Yeah.
Just down. I'm pouty all the way. Like I'm pouty.
You think you're saying you're red?
Yeah, I don't see it getting much better for me. Like I'm gonna be 2-5. Like I'm losing this week. I'm relying on Sam Howell as my quarterback.
Yeah, that's not great.
No.
I was gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. I was gonna give you orange, but that being said, you see Oliver's face. It's not good.
Yeah,
Like
that's how I feel. Like I look at him and I'm like,
it's
I understand, buddy. Like it makes sense. Doesn't mean that it
yeah,
can't
it's
change, but at this moment, that's how.
no. I mean, just with bye weeks, like you have Montgomery hurt now. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
just keep smiling.
you have no kicker.
I was just
Oh man.
I'm waiting for them to officially like rule Montgomery out to pick one up. I figure then I
Oh,
can
sure.
yeah. So
Then you can start a
yeah. Yeah. But
maybe you are red. You're not doing
hopefully there's better days ahead, but I'm not feeling so sure.
better days ahead.
So really interesting one is Eric because he has the record. But he's off. He just got his first loss, so this should be an interesting one. And who's he play this week? Well, we'll get to that, but I think he plays his brother. He plays Freddie, so this is a big matchup.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think? Where do you think Eric's at?
So, like you were saying, Eric has a great start. But his points for versus points against, I don't know. I don't know if this is the loss that it's like starting to catch up with him. That being said, you're leading your division. You have a 5-1 record, the second best record in the league. I gotta say, he's probably still green. I think he's light green. He's happy. He's happy with what's happening so far, but I think he's starting to lean towards yellow. I think reality's starting to settle in, and I mean, he also has the injury bug, right? He's his boy Fields, he's
Mhm.
down.
That might be good
Yeah.
for Eric, though.
Honestly, it might be because I was surprised how ride or die he has been with him.
Yeah.
But like he has pieces on his team, so we'll see. So I'm gonna say green because his record, but I think it's starting to lean towards yellow.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably a fair assessment. I was with Eric tonight. We were playing, and he had mentioned, he said something to me. He was like, "Can we just like ask Flog to just like cancel the season?" So like, he's probably like, he might be in the yellow, just like, which is so weird because he's 5-1.
Yeah, on paper he's green. Mentally,
Yeah.
he's yellow. If
Mhm.
yeah, he's he's going through it.
Derek at 4-2, he likes to be very pessimistic, but I think deep down, I think Derek knows he has a pretty solid roster. But I'd like your take on it.
Yeah, so Derek all season has been like, oh, Eric's skating by, he's the new JL. If you look at Derek's points against, Eric's at
Oh, that's right there.
594. Derek is at 597. And
Uh-huh.
like, other people like John Leonard points against 797. JT's points against 867. So like Derek is like throwing all this just I don't know. He's distracting it.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I think he had a lucky first couple weeks. He skated by, has a good record, and now Cup's back. He has a good team to back it up. So like I can't even say like, oh, he's lucky. He just doesn't have the points against because now like he has a good team. Um
Yeah,
that I don't know. I would say Derek's also in the green.
he's in the
So
green.
yeah, he's in the green.
If
But
you if like yeah, gun to his head, he's in the green, but he'll tell you he's orange or red.
yeah, he'll tell you the bus is running over him, but like he's yeah.
Zach Bear, who has been quiet so far, like he hasn't been like I know he's got a lot going on school wise. He's in, he's doing grad school. Just not as active. I know he listens every week. So I'm not gonna like, say too much, but um I would like to see his perspective on things, on how he feels everything's going. But that's not for him to describe right now. So it's for us. So where do you see it?
Um Zach's a tricky one. I don't I don't think he's either the greens, right? He's not like loving life right now. And it's always hard when you are like distracted during the football season, and his distractions are rightfully so, right? He's getting his masters,
Absolutely.
the guy's engaged, right? I don't know. I mean, I don't know about you. I didn't really plan much of my wedding. So I'm sure Katie's more doing that. But that being said, you still are half of it. So he's getting married at the end of the year, or like in June, July,
July.
July 19th. I got it. Don't worry. It's on my fridge. I got the save the date.
Same. Same.
Um that being said, I think he's yellow. He has Patrick Mahomes as the quarterback. He didn't really perform this week, but like that's always solid. I do think he has that injury with Achan that hurts. Oh, you know what I noticed about his team? He has three Dolphin running backs. So
And none of them
maybe,
are ones that
maybe
you want at this moment.
exactly. So honestly, I think we might be bumping him to orange.
He's got, and I that was why I was gonna say, because Achan basically, like, Achan was like a gift from God to be like, here is like your second opportunity to like really, here you go. And then he got hurt. And like, so he didn't even get to really use Achan. Like, I think maybe 1 week, one good week he got him. Because after the 49-point week, then he got hurt, then he had the 25-point week. So like I guess he had 2 weeks out of him. Good week. And then he, got hurt. And but yeah, I think Zach's a realist enough to know that like he's probably in that orange. Uh,
Yeah.
but another win here, he gets himself kind of might help to solidify him in that third spot. So yeah, things could
Yeah,
be
that's what he needs. He needs the win to separate himself from Turtle and Tyler, right? If we are going in a playoff soon, I know we still have time. Right now, it looks like on paper, Eric has the number one spot locked up. Derek has the number two spot locked up. But that number three spot, right? Zach and Turtle are tied. Tyler's one game out. Yeah, Zach needs to start trying to separating himself. So
yes.
we'll see.
Yeah. Um so um Turtle at 2-4. Um he's got some guys on bye this week. He's pretty much in a must win situation. I'd say he's probably in orange, potentially red. It's not looking great at this moment. How do you feel?
I would agree. I think I I don't think he's red. I
I wouldn't say
with
full red, but he's
with
like
just yeah, I things aren't looking great for him. I agree. He's in a much win situation. Um and we're gonna talk about his matchup in a little bit, but it's going to be a tough one for him. Um and he just needs guys to perform. He has guys on bye, so that doesn't help. Yeah, it's I think he's orange. I think if he loses this week, he could be leaning towards being in the red.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. It's not looking great for Turtle.
No. And Tyler, who has more name changes this year, I think, than text in the group chat. Um, at 1-5. I mean, I'm looking at his roster, and I actually there's parts of me like you have Cousins, Eckler, Kamara, Christian Watson, who's going to be starting to ramp things up, Addison, who now doesn't have JJ. Drake London's quietly been stringing together some good weeks. He has 3 straight weeks at over 10 points. Michael Thomas, T. Higgins, Roshan Johnson is about to become the starting running back for Chicago. All things considered, the roster is not bad, but he is in pain with a period.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think he might be red. And that
He's
being
in
said,
red. He's definitely in red.
yeah, and that being said, like you laid it out. He doesn't have a bad team. My man is making moves,
Yep.
but this just his luck this year. Better days ahead, dude. Better days ahead. I do have to say, Tyler, I think this season though, and it has been a lot in the group chat, but it's been surprise. And I know I'm not super active in the group chat either, but like I think we're getting more and more out of Tyler
Yeah.
as the years have gone by. So
Yeah.
I do and I'm sorry if it's you just sulking, but I do like hearing from you. So keep
Yeah.
those
We love that.
messages coming.
Yeah, yeah. Um,
He, you honestly had me dying when I was talking about my first world problems, and you're like, "Oh, Zach, we're so sorry." And you sent like the smallest violin. I
yeah,
was dying.
yeah.
That was so fun.
Wow, so good. Uh, yeah. So that's the Sulk meter. That was a fun one. Might have to keep this one. We'll see. The pictures are great. They match up so well with like feelings and whatnot. So thanks for sharing those.
Of course.
Yeah. Um, and we will move on to the matchups. So last week I put up a 5-0 on my picks, and I've who was on last week? Was it JT?
Last week, I believe, was my brother.
Yeah, that person went. I think JT went 1-4, so or 2-3. So I regained the record here. This week this week so Matt versus Derek. We're both saying Derek. I'm basically a bye week for Derek.
Yeah, we've been alluding to it all episode. This week's gonna be rough for you. Currently, you have no kicker playing.
Yeah.
Um, and bye week blues.
Yep.
Yep, the Burrow, Mixon, Lamb, yeah, Nico Collins, yeah, and then injury to like Montgomery. But
I
hey,
I used to like so I know everyone has different viewpoints on it. Like some people like to spread their players out with their buys. When I was winning, like when I had like a size of sometimes I didn't mind just like having like 6 players on buy one week and just giving up the loss, and then you don't have to worry about it.
uh,
So, but this week obviously I'm like shoot, like I need a win. So,
yeah, this is a must win, and it's not looking
no,
great.
I'm relying, like I said, Sam Howell and Zach Evans. So who knows?
That being said, I mean, Derek has Chase on by
Yeah.
Jamar Chase, so like that's one of his top players.
Oh yeah,
But
we were joking around. We said it's going to be a pillow fight this week. So, uh, definitely a soft matchup here.
yeah, so, hey, we'll see. I mean, if Ridley performs, that's good for Derek, but he's a boomer bust guy.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah,
So
but yeah, we're both
this,
saying Derek.
yeah, yeah. The next matchup's really intriguing. Um, JT versus Zach Bear, both really hunting for that win. Both kind of need it. Pretty close. It's like a 52% to 48%. I'm going JT. And you're going Zach. So we kind of like flipped our, we're going
Yeah,
against our brothers. So
I'm taking your brother, you're taking mine. This was the one matchup all week I was really back and forth about. I didn't know. I just like I think Patrick Mahomes is gonna ball out against the Chargers, right? Is he's playing? Um Ayuk, if Debo is still hurt, Ayuk's gonna get more looks. I like that for Zach. If he figures out what backup to Mostert he wants to play for the Dolphins, that could be pretty valuable. And just like looking at JT's team, Jonathan Taylor has been, I don't know, a pretty big bust ever since, I don't know, just like figuring out all his issues. Lamar Jackson, I had him one season, and I remember I drafted him, and Eric's like, "Oh my gosh, have fun with him. Never want to do that again."
Mhm.
And so I don't know if JT is going to learn that he never wants to do this again. But Lamar can have great weeks and dud weeks, and I just think it might be a dud week,
Yeah,
and so that's
very
why
fun.
I'm leaning towards Zach. But who knows? We'll see. I think it's a crapshoot, but I want Zach.
All right. Um, and then our next matchup, Turtle versus you. Yeah. Sorry, Turtle. You have to go against the Juggernaut this week. Daddy Doubles isn't in any position to give up a game. You already had a 62% chance of winning. Games haven't been played. Now, the one interesting thing we got here is your McCaffrey situation. Now, some reports were saying like he's going to be back. It's not a long-term injury. I don't think there's enough info out there, so that's going to be one to watch, but I still don't think it will matter. Like you have options on the bench ready to go. And you have Mason, so at least you can like flip him in. Um and he kind of took more of the touches in Elijah Mitchell, but if you're asking me, I think Mitchell will be the guy if they have to. I don't know
Mhm.
why that it unfolded that way, but maybe who knows? You've been right so far, so why should I question anything
Uh,
right
we'll see. I mean, I think I got it locked down, but who knows? Turtle's already texting me like congratulations.
now?
But I think McCaffrey's going to play. He, from my understanding, what happened during the game, I didn't get to watch this one. I was with Eric when we were doing something else when the games were being played. But I think he played most of the game, got hurt, and then there was like a I don't know. He sat off a play or two, came back on, and there was like a penalty, and so
Mhm.
like it was nothing was happening on the field, and so the coaches pulled him. They're like, "Listen, we don't need you like for the rest of the game." So
Hmm.
I think he's going to be okay since he got hurt, went out, played a little bit more, but I don't know. We'll see. I for sure hope he's okay. But yeah,
Oh, um, Tyler and JL. Um, we're both going JL. Just a little too much firepower on JL's team right now versus Tyler's. It's just I don't think it's that close. Plus the JL effect. Um, so yeah, what do you think?
yeah. JL against Tyler. We were saying that Tyler he's putting his team together. But that being said, I don't know. I think JL's team is a little bit more put together.
Hmm.
He has the Allen Diggs stack, which can be deadly.
Hmm.
Um, St. Brown, great player, right? Walker has been like getting, I feel like JL tons of points every week.
Oh yeah,
Um, yeah, so I think John's got this one locked down. Yeah.
yeah. And very interesting. This might be my favorite game. One of the definitely I know I said JT and Zeebs is a good matchup, but I think Freddie and Eric will be a really fun one to keep an eye on. We both are going Freddie, but I think it's going to be really close. How do you feel?
Yeah, I think this could be another shootout. I'm preaching Freddie, man. Freddie's here. You look at his running backs are like low key stacked.
Mhm.
A Bijan Robinson and Mostert, and like he now has Keenan Allen. That's so solid for him. He has the Herbert Allen stack. I'm actually just noticing that. So I think things are looking up Freddie. He has Elliott as his kicker too. Elliott's such a stud.
Yeah, he's the number one kicker.
Yeah, so I like
And
I've been
Pacheco's been awesome this year. So
I've been saying this all episode. Watch out for Freddie. He's coming.
I think
That
so.
little
I wish he wasn't, but I think you're right.
yeah.
So yeah, so that is our matchups. I think we got everything covered. Do you have anything you wanted to add? Anything to finish it us off?
Uh, we should get together as a group to watch football games.
Yeah.
And if we don't watch football games, get together on like a Friday or Saturday night because I love getting drinks and then making stupid decisions with trades.
Yes,
so
I would agree. We'll try to get that figured out hopefully soon. And that'll be a good time.
And I mean, and I like the impromptu. We went to Flying Fish twice. I know you guys watched Phillies at the Wick, so it's fun. Obviously, I know we can't get everybody together with impromptu stuff, but I think if it's a Friday night and you're not doing anything, throw something out in the group chat.
Somebody should it'll stick somewhere.
Oh yeah, 100%. I don't know. That being said, go Phillies. Let's keep that going.
Sounds good. Thanks, Zach, for coming on, and best of luck the rest of the season.